All
I'm
righty.
waiting on, we're waiting. Okay, hold on there. I will jump this off and we'll go from there. So welcome everybody. Welcome everybody that is here with us live, and then those that are watching us on the live stream, and those that could be watching us, a little later on. I would love to welcome Tony Briscoe. Okay, Anthony Briscoe. He went with his government name today to the mic today to share with you guys. Now we this particular conversation is going to be purpose and the levels of success. But before we get into that, a couple of announcements with minorities in cybersecurity. Of course, Mike Lead Aspires is sponsored by AWS. We do have some things coming up. Of course, our conference is coming up at the end of March, which is Tony will be speaking there as well. We also have a couple of things for certifications coming up. We are proud to announce that our subsidiary MiC Talent Solutions submitted all of its paperwork to have its own registered apprenticeship program. So be on the lookout for that, as well as we work with organizations for folks that are bridging that gap between finally finishing whatever certification, whatever education, whatever you've done to become a cybersecurity professional, and getting you that job in that inroad. So that's what we're going to be doing with our subsidiary MiC Talent Solution. So all that to be said, a lot of great things going on, a lot of great things coming up for this Aspires group. We will be offering a cohort that for the CC cert, which is ISC squared cert. That's also coming up. So a lot of good things going on out there for you guys to get engaged and involved in. But today we're going to turn this over to Anthony Briscoe, who is a graduate of our first MiC Lead Communicators course. And he's going to share with you levels of success called purpose. And I will turn it over to you, Anthony. I'll go off camera.
Sounds good. Thank you. Thank you, Mary Cheney. I am, as you can see on the presentation there, I put MiC Lead Cohort 1 grad because we kicked this game off with Minorities in Cybersecurity Leadership Program in the communications cohort. And so I am grateful for what Mary has offered up to the community as a whole. I'm grateful. I should not start naming names, but when I think about the Olive Goes, when I think about the Renees, when I think about the Ollies, when I think about the Monicas, when I think about everybody who came in as leaders in their own rightful fields, including those that are in cybersecurity and outside of cybersecurity, who came in to pour into us, including Bloomberg at the time, and really grateful for how Mary has been able to now involve Amazon in this process, AWS in this process as well, to increase the diversity of minorities in cybersecurity. So for that, I am forever grateful because I own my stuff. I mixed up two messages. And so my next topic, not today is purpose, levels of success, but then I'll go back to those ethical implications for those who are in the cybersecurity spaces. So I am grateful to be here and grateful to share with you all on today. I have not known Mary long, but she means the world to me. And I mean that. I'm older, but she's like big sister, and I appreciate that. So a little history about me. Of course, you see my name there, Anthony Briscoe. I've got about 27 years in IT, ranging from desktop support to campus management to project manager to 8 years in senior IT leadership. I have not cracked that glass ceiling yet of a chief level, but if it's in the cards, I will be there. And so a little caution, and you'll see another screen. I am a poet. I am an author. I am an IT and life mentor. I am an IT consultant. And yes, I am a rapper. And so you cannot be in IT without having an outlet somewhere. That's where I really get in to fulfill part of my passion, and that is with being an artist. So the truth about me is I'm a motor mouth, so you may want to tone down your volume a little bit. I'm fresh back from Ghana, West Africa. My tribe traces back to the Mindi people of Sierra Leone. I found a cup on Amazon that said, "I'm not loud, I'm just Sierra Leonean." And so when I saw that cup, I did not buy it for $30, but It just made me feel like I'm actually at home with being loud as I am. My wife and daughter may not approve, but I do. So today we're going to talk about purpose. I know oftentimes in technology, in IT, and in cybersecurity, we kind of jump right into whatever we want to do and the fields without real alignment. One of the main things I've been hearing and seeing as I browse through LinkedIn is that if you want to make great money, go into cybersecurity, which is very true. But how then do you get there if it's not part of your purpose? These questions are from a very good friend of mine. His name is Dr. Nicholas Pierce. He wrote a book called The Purpose Path. And in this book, he addresses 5 key questions. When we talk about purpose, what is success for you? Who are you? Why are you here? And I'm reading this opposite of how I'm presenting it. Am I running the right ways, or are you running the right race? And are you running that race well? So for those in the MiC Aspires program, there's an understanding of why you're here. The question I want to ask you when we talk about success, what does it mean to you? To take that to another level of what does success mean to you, to take it off of an individual landscape and to put this question before you in a method like this. Lionel Harris, a life coach, asked, what does it look like? If you were doing what you wanted to do, doing what you're called to do, doing what you like to do, what does it look like for you? How do you paint that picture in your head of what it looks like in terms of purpose? What does it smell like to you? How refreshing is it for you when you begin to lay out purpose? So if you're dealing with cybersecurity, what area specifically gives you that vacation look? What gives you that aroma of what it smells like? I want you to envision this type of success as we go through the next couple of slides, just so you can get an indication of how deep your purpose has to be in order to get fulfillment. What does success taste like for you? You know, it's Black History Month. We sold food in all month, hopefully not all month, maybe here and there. But what does it taste like to you? What do you envision when you get that job in cybersecurity that you desire? How does that taste? Are you going to go out and celebrate with a meal? What does it sound like? Because it sounds like now that you're doing what you want to do and making the money that you want to make, where you can just envision that nice vacation that you want to take. All of this aligns to purpose. What does it feel like? You've been to a spa, you've been to a retreat, you've got the hot stones on your spine, you're relaxed. You've got somebody who knows exactly where your rough spots are. What does that feel like when you're walking in this type of life and when you're walking in this type of expectation? Those are the things I want you to think about, starting with a purpose. MiC Aspires. All right, here it is. This is from Mary Cheney, CEO, are defined as those professionals looking to get into the cybersecurity space, whether they are in college, college graduates, or transitioning. This is the why for MiC Aspires. This is the purpose of MiC Aspires, to give you an opportunity to explore within the cybersecurity space what you want to be and what you want to create when you get there. Now, I am notoriously known for making acronyms. I do it all the time, but I've got to give a major shout out to ChatGPT. You use your resources to its advantage. Purpose, plan, utilize, rise, persevere, own, strive, and enjoy. These are the things that we're going to be talking about today. I hope you have plenty of questions that you can just go ahead, throw in, and chime in, because this is the area where we're going with purpose. I do want to share a video with you all that I am hoping will give you idea of what I'm talking about when we talk about your purpose and your purpose in cybersecurity?
How do I know? A lot of people, when they think of the phrase, how do I know, they always want to put the what behind it. How do I know what I'm supposed to do? The question that you really should ask is, how do I know why I'm here? Because when you know your why, your what becomes more clear and more impactful. If you know, like for instance, people know that I do comedy, but that's what I do. My why is to inspire people to walk in purpose. So I can do comedy, I can write books, I can be in a movie, because all of it is motivated by my why. In fact, I have a new web series out called Michael Jr. Break Time. We probably just did the 6th episode. It's on YouTube. So every single Wednesday at 3 o'clock, we drop a new episode on YouTube of Michael Jr. Break Time. What it is it's me. I travel around the country and I do stand-up comedy, in case you didn't know. And in the middle of my comedy set sometime, I'll stop and just talk to my audience. And we've been filming this, and it's, you know, it's pretty cool. So we're in Winston-Salem. I'm gonna show you a clip from Winston-Salem. And I'm just talking to this guy in the audience, and he tells me that he's a musical instructor at a school. So I was like, all right, you're a musical instructor, you know, can you sing? Let me hear you sing a song. So this is what happened at the last episode of Michael Jr.'s Break Time. Check it. So you're a musical director. Cool.
Yes, sir.
All right, so let me get a couple bars of like Amazing Grace. Can you do the first part of that? Go ahead.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me.
Wow. That bro could sing, you know what I'm saying? All right. Now, what you give me the version is if your uncle just got out of jail, you got shot in the back when you was a kid. I'm just saying, let me see the hood version real quick, if you know which version I'm talking about. Just see if that exists. Let me see what you got.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I see.
Okay, here's what I want you to catch. The first time I asked him to sing, he knew what he was doing. The second time, he knew why he was doing it. When you know your why, your what becomes more impactful because you're walking towards or in your purpose.
So I hope you all were able to hear that. So the next place is why. Why cybersecurity? Why are you entering this field? Why do you desire to enter this field? There's no wrong answer because nobody can speak to your why more than you. But what is your purpose behind it? Money is a great motivator, but purpose is a sustainable motivator. And there's nothing wrong with going after money. Trust me, I'm pursuing it as well. But when you get down to your why, it helps you formulate the next path that you're going after and what you're going towards. You have to be able to solidify your why. All right. What's your skill? What's transferable? And what can you create for your purpose in cybersecurity? What is your pursuit? What are you going after? And why this field? What area do you want to be in? Do you know what your own current strengths are and how you can manipulate those or transfer those into this field that you want to be in? Here's an example of what I'm talking about. Before you plan your path, you have to know your strengths. So whatever area of cybersecurity that you're desiring to go into, how then do you now take what you already have, being a newbie or an aspiring person in cybersecurity? How do you take your current skill set, your current strengths, your current abilities, and translate those into something that you want to be within cybersecurity? And so these are just a few of the roles that are out there, from entry level all the way up to advanced. Where do you fit in? What's your background? Now, you all should be very familiar with Mary Cheney. She spans a region of areas of expertise, right? I'm meeting more lawyers. I have a friend now who's very well known for cybersecurity. Now she's in law school because now she wants to be high end on the governance and strategy side of this. Now she's going to law school. That's her choice. I think you can do it without it, but this is her choice to do. But what skills do you have? What background are you coming from that you can bring to the table? I don't care if you're in accounts payable. I don't care if you're working in a front office. I don't care if you were a principal at a school. Doesn't really matter. Everybody, when they come into this industry, comes to the table with a skill set. Well, Tony, what if I don't fit into any area on this and I still want to be in cybersecurity? Well, that's why I have that creation that's to the far right of your screen, or right of my screen, maybe left of your screen. That's why I have that there. What gap can you feel that's missing in this industry that you can create and that you want to do? What's an example of that? I've been in IT, as you already know, for quite some time. Cybersecurity was another avenue for me to take my career to another level, right? And so I want to get a different skill set. So when I found out about the MiC Lead program, I was like, wow, yeah, I can study for the Security Plus exam, which I did in 2021, which I passed in 2021. But what are some of those other tangible skills that you need as a leader outside of the technical side? Now, people that know Tony Briscoe, and this is not a disclaimer for you not to look for me, I'm not super technical. I manage, I lead right now. Then how did you complete the Security Plus exam? Well, I had to learn some technical things in order to get through that exam. I'm pursuing the CISSP now. And so in other words, but I came to the table. I used to be a back office manager for a small brokerage firm back in the day. I used to be a training rep. All of those skills are transferable into IT and into the cybersecurity spaces. What the MiC Lead program helped me with, as you MiC aspirers should roll right into once you complete this program, for those who get in, you should roll into, because now the MiC Lead program helped give me another dynamic of communication, to start creating better writing skills in order to be in that CISO arena, or be in that chief executive officer arena, or be in that chief operating or technology officer position. So that's how it all plays in. You come to the table with a skill set automatically. Programs like this are the ones that help you understand how to apply those skills that you bring to the table while getting you up to speed. It goes back to purpose. Why cybersecurity for you? And whatever those reasons are, only you can shape them. But as you get into it, you begin to develop and understand, and you decide you want to build a plan forward. Plan. What are your steps towards success? How will you move? What can you do on your own that's not tied to anyone else? Now, I want to pause here because this is extremely important with every purpose you attach to your life. Your purpose and your why is for other people, but it has to start with you. If you start anything without a purpose or why, it's only a reason to do something. The reason I want you to be real careful when you attach your purpose in cybersecurity to anything else outside of something that's innately you, it becomes a drawback for you in the long run. What do I mean by that? What can you do on your own? So this is what I had to learn. And I always bring a lot of personal life experience into every conversation that I have. And when I'm engaging people and I'm engaging leaders of other schools or when I'm mentoring. When people say, oh, I want to do this for my kids, that's part of the reason. I want to do this for my family. That's part of the reason. If it does not start innately with you, it's not going to be realistic. Because what happens when you run into a road and you're doing something for somebody else when it's attached to purpose? Now you can shift the finger and point the blame. There's no blaming in cybersecurity. There is only ownership. And that's a big piece that I want you to understand. And when I come back talking about ethical implications, we'll get a little bit more into what that ownership is and what that ownership actually looks like with some examples of former CISOs who've fallen victim to not walking in their ethical considerations. So not going to get there now, but I'm excited about that presentation as well. Who do you need in your circle as part of your plan? This is what the MiC development programs are all about. I can't give y'all all the goods because Mary gonna get me for that, but I can just tell you the programs benefit. So who do I need in my circle? When you get into a program like this, I'm going to tell you now, you're going to be challenged. Your purpose should be full of challenge in cybersecurity. And I don't mean the technical things, right? Anybody can be technical. At the high end of cybersecurity, there's a leadership role, but everybody from the person who opens up that computer to log in to the person who has to audit these things, everybody's responsible. When I'm talking about who do you need in your circle, you need a program that can help you navigate these spaces. You need someone who's not going to tell you, oh, you're doing great. So I know when I call Mary, her time is valuable. I know when I call the CEO of Black Girls Hack, their time is valuable. They don't have time for fluff. Tony, get to it. What do you need? Boom. Okay, cool. Call me this weekend. We can have a deeper conversation. Right now, I'm going to give you what you need. You need that person who's going to be straightforward with you as you work to plan out and align your purpose in cybersecurity. What does that mean? That means if you have a desire to be let's say, an ethical hacker. Notice I said ethical. If you desire to be an ethical hacker, but you don't want to learn Linux, somebody within the MiC Lead program is going to tell you, I don't think that's what you really want to do if you don't enjoy this. Your purpose should be something that's enjoyable and fulfilling for you within cybersecurity. It's vast enough for everybody to have reach. I find my strengths as an ambassador for cybersecurity and turning people on to programs like this that are in MiC Lead and programs like those that exist within Black Girls Hack for those who want to be truly technical at what they do. And now with the AWS partnership, you get to be a little technical too now. So these are the things I'm talking about when it comes to you planning the P in your purpose, right? We talked about this a little bit earlier. Take in your skills and your strengths. What are your skills? What I can do. What are your strengths? What are you good at? What do you mean? You may be skilled at something, but you may not be good at it. You may be great in something, but you may not be skilled at it. How do these interlock and interchange with your purpose? I want to give you an example. And I'll make it personal for you as I'm thinking about this. I am great talking to people. I am great at building teams. I am great at leading teams. Right? I can do those things. I've got a skill set to bring people together and to bring organizational cohesion. Right? But what am I good at? I am good at connecting people. That's where I thrive. So Tony, you said that you are a leader. I am. I'm a senior director in a charter school network here in Chicago, Illinois. I bleed blue and gold all day. Those are our colors, right? I work with several different departments across the spectrum of our organization. I'm great at bringing people together here and there to connect them, to make them intertwine. Now, I've got to have a relationship with every department. So yeah, I can read a P&L, but I'm not a CFO. I can't take it to the level. I can read a budget. I'm skilled at reading budgets, but I'm not a CFO. What I am good at is when we have budgetary issues with several departments to bring us all together to the table to make these things happen at the same time. That's where I find my purpose, and my greatest strength is connecting people and bringing organizational cohesion. So there's a skill set that you have, right? I know how to set up printers on a network. I know how to build a VM. I used to know how to program a Cisco router back in the day with the old Catalyst programs that we used to use from the command line prompt. All of that stuff is gone with Meraki now, but I was skilled at doing these things. But that wasn't my strength. My strength is always, you've got to find out when you come into cybersecurity what those strengths are and capitalize on them, and what those skills are and exercise on them. So those are all things that are purpose-driven for you in cyber. Rise to the occasion. This is a tough one because when you're breaking into cybersecurity, you've got to be able to do what others may turn down. What do you mean? Do what others not turn down? I know what you're thinking. I'm not doing anything I'm not getting paid for. And I'm not saying you don't deserve to be paid. I want you to hear me clearly. But as you are wanting to grow into a different area, there may be a time, not a lot of times, there may be a time you have to just put yourself out there for an opportunity. Fill the gap without an expectation, right? I love my director of infrastructure. We've been working together for years because long before director titles and senior director titles came, we were IS support specialists. We wouldn't let anybody on our team fail. If they were struggling, we moved in long before our bosses moved in. We built a united front because we wanted to make sure that part of our purpose being here in this organization to carry out the mission of making sure that our young people go to college is making sure that we build a sustainable team that can help fulfill their technological needs inside of that, right? We rose to the occasion with no expectation. And with no immediate money. I'll leave that like that, right? This is broadcast, so choose my words carefully. Let's shatter the myths on how does this resonate with you. You're going to have to do things within cybersecurity that you never thought you had to do. Why? Because cybersecurity is everybody's responsibility. Your purpose from the help desk, if you start off there, all the way up to the red team or the blue team or the purple team that you're on or the white team, wherever place you find yourself, you're going to have to ensure that you are all in and rising to the occasion. That means it's not enough for you to just know your job. If your job doesn't have a job rotation process as part of the cybersecurity plan, you should be the job rotation. This is how we were able to exist. This is how we were able to watch each other's backs. You get to create. Remember, I used the word create earlier. As part of your purpose, you get to create a path and a plan forward for you to proceed and for you to be able to continue to produce for your organization. Don't turn down opportunities for you to learn. Myself, I've always put education and opportunity above money, because once I got the opportunity and the education, the money surely is going to come one way or the other, right? Once you move through that phase, this is the tough part. You got to persevere, endure, persevere when faced with obstacles. Now, I used to be an eternal pessimist. Nobody likes pessimists. I'm going to tell you that right now. Obstacles will come. With every obstacle, there's an opportunity. With every challenge, there's an opportunity. with resistance, when it comes, there's an opportunity. It's always there. On the path and journey to cybersecurity, I have been studying for the CISSP since last July. I'm slowly making breakthroughs and progress, right? Well, is that an obstacle? Yes. If you've seen the CISSP, it is a monster of material. It's a lot of information. I've run into obstacles, I've run into challenges, and I've run into resistance. Maybe that's because I didn't listen to Mary when she said, don't study more than 2.5 hours a day. That's on me. I've got to own that. But in every line of work, especially trying to break into cybersecurity, which I don't think I like that word, break into cybersecurity, but as you begin to think about changing career fields and changing career paths, and you've heard about this area where you can make a whole lot of money and that the job security is really good, well, you got to be able to sift through all of that information. That's why it's going to all tie back into your purpose, that when you do meet resistance, I know people who failed the Network Plus exam 4 times before they pass. I know people who failed the Security Plus exam twice before they pass. I know people who failed the CISSP exam 3 times at $850 a pop before they pass. Whatever obstacle, whatever challenge, whatever resistance, they saw it as an opportunity to get better. In this industry, in this field, you have to persevere. You have to be ready to embrace it. There's a reason it's called cybersecurity, because there's a need to defend and protect environments, schools, government infrastructure. And so you have to find your purpose and your meaning within this work and desire where you want to be to take it to the next level. Resistance comes only when greatness arises. You've got to push past those obstacles and keep things moving. Here we go with ownership. Own your choices and your actions as part of your purpose. As you are entering the beginning levels of this field, at your own risk, own your stuff, own your plan, show up, do the work, and breathe. Own your plan. When it comes to networking, it's a part of your purpose. If you think you're going to break into this industry or get into this industry of your own wit, of your own intelligence, and your own drive, I'm not saying you can't do that. If you're part of the MiC program, intelligence is already known. But in order to navigate through these circles, part of your responsibility is networking. Part of you owning your plan is networking. You have to be able to make the right connections. And when they call for you to show up, you've got to show up. I'm dealing with 3 family emergencies right now. 3, all of them requiring all of my attention. I can't possibly be 3 different places at the same time and here. I have to own my part and my responsibility. That this hour out of my day, I can shoot straight to the hospital when I leave here. What I'm saying is, part of your purpose is showing up for you and doing the work. So even if you're in the next cohort of the MiC Lead Communication Program, whether you're in the MiC Aspires program, it behooves you to do the work. Don't come unprepared. If there's something, an assignment for you to do, because MiC Lead is here to help you fulfill your purpose in getting into cybersecurity. And so when it comes to investments, when it comes to donors, there are stakeholders that need to get feedback on what's happening, right? And so when you show up on those Saturdays, even when you don't want to, you still got to show up. When you don't feel like it, you've got to show up. And we all need a Sandy in our life, who's one of the MiC Lead communicators, to help us bring things all back home. I can't tell you how many times on a Saturday, sometimes we got up, we knew we had about a good 4.5 hours to go, and Sandy would come in with an electric magnetic energy that would shift everybody. You've got to show up. You've got to do the work. You've got to own your stuff. And then with all of that being said, You have to breathe. Very important when we talk about your purpose work. Strive towards a meaningful, fulfilling life. Man, what are you talking about? If your purpose is only to make money in cybersecurity, again, there's no wrong. It's okay. But is money all you are? I know we need money. It makes everything move. Money answers problems. It's clear about that. But how many people do you know in cybersecurity who are actually happy with what they're doing in cybersecurity? I talk to people on Clubhouse on a weekly basis who are burnt out, who are ready to leave, who are ready to shift. And they've been saying that for a couple of years now, and they haven't made any moves. Why? Because the money is great, but how much of them is being lost? This is why you have to go back and determine what is success. If I can't bring success home, is it actually part of my purpose in what I'm doing? If I lose my identity in this, is it part of my success in what I'm doing? No, you should have a meaningful life. I don't know how Mary does it across everything she does, but I see passion every time MiC anything comes out of her mouth. MiC Lead, MiC Communicators, MiC Talent Solutions. There is something about the work that she's doing that it's purposeful for her. So if she's got to spend an 18-hour day doing it, she'll do it. Now, she probably going to up and go to vacation to the Bahamas a couple of weeks later. But those are things that are important as well. And so remember those things as you begin to go through and build. So MiC aspirers to builders to communicators, that's what the community is working on and working towards. But you have to have meaningfulness in your life when it comes to your purpose in cybersecurity. And these three programs, aspirers, builders, and communicators, are here to help walk you through and navigate each of these spaces so you can find your purpose doing what you love, the way you love to do it, and making the money that you desire to make in the process of it. All right. Before I close out, we have to deal with the E. Enjoy the journey. Celebrate the victory and take the L. And that shouldn't be a off D and just take an L. We do lessons. We don't do losses. Everything is a lesson. Sometimes those lessons come in hard ways. I'm hoping that a colleague of mine is not dealing with a DDoS attack right now. I'm also hoping that they're not dealing with a cyber threat right now. But surely he's going to need my support. He's going to need me to show up for him because he could possibly be in for some long weeks. You got to take time for you. Enjoy the fruit of your labor. My MiC Lead graduation communicators on my wall. That's success for me. I committed myself to something and I saw it all the way through to completion, and I'm still working on it. There were a few of us who said we would have our CISSP exams by 7/2/2023. Do you think Mary Cheney will not be following up on us to see where we are with that goal? But take time for you. Take your vacation. Take your weekends. Have shut-off time. Because in this arena, depending on what area you land in, depending on what area lines up with your expertise and your skill set and where you want to be, you're going to have weekends where that's not going to be available because you're in a position to defend an organization, a country, a school, a hospital, our infrastructure, our industrial complex. Don't get me started on that. But I just want to say you have to take time for you. So the questions from the Purpose Path by Dr. Nicholas Pierce that you have to answer. What is success? Who are you? Why are you here? Are you running the right race? And are you running that race well? I'll close out this section and this portion with a quote from Dr. P.U.R.P.O.S.E. We owe it to ourselves to find meaning and take deep pride in what we do in the service of others. We owe it to ourselves to build lives of meaning and significance that inspire us to wake up every morning and make a difference. That's real courage. Dr. Nicholas Pierce. In cybersecurity, look at this statement, find out where you want to be. And if this is your purpose, if this is what you want to do, if this is the area that you want to get into, then I want you to move from aspiration to inspiration, to align it with your purpose and begin to put into work to protect, to defend, to secure your purpose in this life. My name is Tony Briscoe.
Wow, amazing, 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 Tony. Thank you so much. You receive messages when you receive messages because that's what you're supposed to do. And I know we weren't supposed to have this conversation today. We had an earmark for a different one, but I needed to receive that message today. So what you will understand about pursuing or having a purpose-driven life is that there are going to be times where you question, right? You're going to be tired. And that's the resiliency aspect of things. And when you pick yourself back up, I used to tell my son, long time ago, he's about to graduate now. He's a big man now. But I'm a big superhero person. And so the Batman series, Dark Knight series, right? It says, why do we fall? So we can learn to pick ourselves back up. And, you are absolutely right. When pursuing opportunities as aspirers in this cybersecurity profession, you should really look towards things that you actually love to do. I mean, cybersecurity is so vast that there is an opportunity out there in everything to have a security slant to it, and you can't give up. That's that part, right? You're gonna fall, and you're gonna get frustrated, and things are gonna be tough. And there's going to be challenges, but the last thing you need to do is stop, right? It's give up on yourself. And so as you are an aspire and you're looking to be in this space, a lot of folks come to me and ask me, Mary, I want to be in cybersecurity. I heard, like Tony said, that there's a lot of money, and it's like, okay, but what do you want to do? Because again, they will come a time. I know you don't believe me. I'm going to say it anyway.
Say it.
There will come a time where the money just doesn't matter. Right. And, when I start thinking about Mike and all of our leadership development programs and Mike Talent and the reason and the purpose, my purpose for doing everything that I do is because I want more of us in this space, because the challenges, I think that, the challenges I've had in this space, I think have a lot to do with the lack of diversity, equity, and inclusion in the space, because even in 2015, 16, 17, I was still the only African-American person my bosses have ever managed. And I'm thinking, well, if there are more of us, then maybe I won't have to deal with, many of the challenges, because you're now used to it. And we're breaking down these barriers, and we're out here. And, I like to say I'm out here talking crazy to people to try to open these opportunities. But, tell them about a time, Tony, where you felt discouraged and you wanted to give up.
Woof. Man, I'm very transparent, probably to a detriment, but I want to hit people where we feel it, especially being a Black man. Mary knows I pursued a COO role, And I think not getting that role, it broke me in ways. Not that my identity was attached to it, but when you know you can do something and all you need is exposure and the opportunity, I think that opportunity that I didn't get, it was really challenging. What was more challenging was showing up like nothing ever happened, was leading my team like nothing ever happened. And what I had to do was I took a break. I took 5 days off immediately. And my team noticed. And I think that's the part that really drew me back into, hey man, you got a purpose, bro. This opportunity was not meant for you. And it took me going to Africa to realize that, but it was challenging because no one likes rejection. But remember what I told you all, we take an L, that's a lesson. We don't take losses. Everything's a lesson. And it took some hard talks with Mary, but it took some hard talks from a network that I built on Clubhouse. And I did not want to hear this man's words. And this is why I say, like in the MiC lead program, like in any of the MiC programs, you're going to run into people who are going to challenge you. They're going to challenge when you think you know you're right. If you've ever had a red marker taken through your writing, woo, wait, Ozzy is no joke. I mean, Ozzy's pushing hard. He's use your resources to your advantage. But I had to get some very hard lessons. And it wasn't about my skill set. It wasn't about my ability. It was about building the right sponsors and networking within. And I think that all of that played a role. But I think you said the best words to me, and I'm paraphrasing them, is that this is not over. It's just the beginning. But it also made me recognize, am I utilizing my strengths and what I want to do to the best of my ability? And I think that's where the real work began for me. So an opportunity like this, I was going to eat this up, first of all. Like this is where I dwell best. I have been mentoring people on LinkedIn for 2 years, and to see the progress that they're making within IT and within cybersecurity, it is amazing. I got to go to Ghana and I met one of my mentees who I met on Clubhouse. I got to meet him. We spent 2 days together. I got to meet him and spend time with him for the work that he's now doing in Ghana. And so the challenges will always be there. And this is just the first leg of the journey, but it's also called me to do more. I have been teaching IT fundamental classes with an organization here. So I started focusing on my strengths, what I'm good at and what I'm great at, which doesn't mean you don't pursue other things and other opportunities. It just means recognize your strength, recognize what you bring to the table, and begin to walk in those purposeful things within cyber.
Yeah, and it's balanced, right? I mean, I don't get into a lot of the things that I've gone into. I'll share, I've, from IT geek to attorney to special agent with the FBI, to a corporate executive, right? And, you experience challenges at those steps, each one of those steps, and it becomes of what you're experiencing now defines and helps you refine what it is that you want. Now, when you're fresh out of college, or when you are, transitioning into the space, it may seem insurmountable, right? It does. It does. And you have to dig in and resist the urge to take the pessimistic view, right? And there's always a way. I mean, I know CISOs that don't have technical backgrounds at all, right?
Or degree, for that matter, Mary.
Or a degree. You're absolutely right. And I understand that, my knee-jerk reaction to that is, that wouldn't happen to a person of color. It's possible, but usually we have to be the brightest in the room to get
Absolutely.
those opportunities. And even when we are the brightest in the room, we still get overlooked or passed over, or not seen as someone who can lead, which is, again, one of those, things in my reason why, MiC lead exists at this particular point. But all that to be said, you can't expect it to be easy. And the moment you're ready to give up is usually the moment where you can achieve some success.
Yes.
Utilize your resources, reach out. I mean, we have a community here within the minorities in cybersecurity that we are building and we continue to build. And people are very, very, very generous with their time to be able to share. Because again, my whole thought process, if there are more of us in it,
Yes.
then, we won't be looked over or passed over, because we're still elephants. I'm sorry, not elephants. We're still the shiny new object in the room. We're still these unicorns that we're in these spaces that we feel like we're the only one. And if we can bring some more people into the space, then maybe you're just used to seeing us here. Maybe that's it, right?
Yeah, we're the unicorns that sat by the breach. I'll phrase it that way. Yeah, and it's really interesting because even in this area, I mean, even the information that I have from Mike Lead, the communication program, like I still apply what I learned last year, 9 months ago. I still apply what I learned from team building exercises to how to communicate the right way. I had an executive meeting today with executive leadership, and I'm telling you, I had the Mike Lead skills locked down. Because and learning how to speak truth to power, because I'm a very passionate person and I'm naturally very loud. I think I learned that when people read my emails, what I learned in the Mike Lead program, Tony, when people read your emails, they're not reading words, they're hearing your voice. You're loud. And people know when you're serious, you get a look on your face. So they actually, they're seeing work, they're reading words, but they're seeing your face, your expressions, your tonality, your inflections, and your hand gestures. And so I still get to be myself authentically, but I represent it different. That's Mike Lead communication game that I keep with me, right? I had an incident. I can share this publicly. So I don't know why Mary Cheney, a young man, thought it was okay to slap my daughter at school this week.
Oh, okay.
But how I communicated as a parent,
Right.
And an employee, I couldn't go in blazing.
Mm-hmm.
I had to deal with this in a way that was respectful, but serious. Mike Lead communication has helped with all of that kind of development, because without the tools that we were given on how to process things, how to be proactive and not reactive in responses, right? I had to drop data points today, Mary. Data point. They don't care about emotion. They care about data points. What data can you provide that justifies this cost and this expense? I had to bring data points. Oh, I'm not a strong data guy. I was today. I was like an expert and a pro. I was dropping numbers like this.
Right.
I went into a meeting with no indication on what I was going to be asked. I had to go prepared. Well, let me see. In the past, I've just told them how I feel about this, and that's never really worked out. So if it's not going to work out, at least let it not work out with data points. Let me take me out of it completely, right? And so being prepared for these things, being prepared to jump into an executive meeting like that, it's just my communication game and application and learning how to apply the tools that we're using. So if I do have to send the email, I already know what Ozzie Monroe recommended. You write what you have to say, you keep it short, you keep it brief, and you use every other AI tool out there to help you navigate this space. So Grammarly is on deck and on point. I'm gonna send these bullet points. I'm gonna make sure the inflections and the tonality is right so it can be read, it can be reviewed, and everybody's clear on what's happening. Those are tools I may not have necessarily put in place before this program. This program pretty much said to me, you got to grow up.
Yeah.
Grow up.
Yeah. And I want to say, for those of you that are watching and listening and with us today, we're not asking you to sell out in any way, shape, or form. There is some polish that we need when we are going after these roles and we're doing these things. And I, as a African American female, as a Black woman, I'm here to tell you that it is a challenge when you're communicating something to someone and they in mocking you and giving you your words back, rolling their head and doing all this other stuff, which is not the way I communicate, but that's the way you hear me based on your own individualized biases that you see, whatever that may be. And so for that, it's just awareness, right? And if you want to get something done, being aware of exactly, what is going on around you. And like Anthony says, when they're reading your words, they're hearing your voice. So how you effectively communicate on a Zoom call or whatever, that's what they're hearing when they're reading your words. And that's game that we're hipping you to, right? You may not know that. So those are the types of things we bring together and within our programs at different levels. Aspirers are different from builders, are different from communicators, right? And your the level of communication that it takes at each level changes depending upon where you are. So all that to say, we are at time. Tony, my dear, thank you so much for this session. We look forward to your next one. Everybody out there, please, if you're, like, subscribe, be informed of everything that we're doing, get engaged, get involved with minorities in cybersecurity. We have our programs. You can apply now if builders and communicators programs for the summer sessions are open June and July respectively. Apply for those. Stay engaged. And the worst thing you can do for yourself when you're aspiring to be in this space is to give up. And just soak up every resource you have and use us as a resource. Thank you so much, Anthony. I went back from Anthony to Tony to Anthony to Tony. You got Tony on the thing, but you had Anthony. It doesn't matter. Thank you so much for your time. And thanks everybody for watching. Look forward